Electronic Business Technology, U Ottawa. I'm doing my last semester. In this course, I'm doing my term paper on the comparative analysis of PubMed Canada and PubMed USA. And mostly, like, my main focus is on the accessibility, usability, and the search and user interface from the user perspective. So I just briefed my paper here, just to give you a brief idea about PMC Canada. I guess all of you already know, but just to give you a hint, PMC Canada is the repository for completely free and full text and peer-reviewed articles, and it's owned by it's a collaboration of the US National Library of Medicine, the National Research Council, and the Canadian Institute of Health Research, and it's owned by Canada. And as of May 2013, it provides access to 2.6 million health and science-related articles. So this is basically the interface. I'm going to go to the interface in the later part of my presentation. And about PubMed USA, it actually provides access to 27 million citations of different medicine and health-related, health and science-related journals. So if the journal is available within the repository, you can access and download, but most of the time it actually directs you to the actual publisher's website. And this is the interface of that. So let's go to the interface and search navigation of PMC Canada. As you can see, this is the first page, the home page you can see. And in the first page, you can actually search for the articles by the name of the articles and the journal titles. So I was trying to do some search using cancer, and all the related documents that showed up actually showed up related to cancer, because I can't really limit my search. And it doesn't allow the cache memory. What is cache memory? Probably you all know, but I brought it up because I found this is a limitation of this repository. I'm going to explain it a bit later in the PubMed USA section. This is the advanced search section where you can search through different ways: article title, author, if you have the article ID. And the most important thing for me as a layman researcher or layman point of view, I tend to go there and build my own search string in the search builder. The only thing that I got caught here is that usually when we use any search string to search for anything, we use or, and not. So I tried to do my search using for cancer, and I limited it with, I wanted to see only the breast cancer article, and I excluded lung cancer by using a not. Surprisingly, the first 10 article that showed up, it was for breast and lung cancer. So you can see that in this repository, if you're using that search string, not actually is not a very good function to use. It doesn't really exclude the search. Like, you can't really get the exact answer for exact search papers from there. And this is another way. This is the bottom part of the main page, where you'll be able to see what are the most recent deposited articles there and most downloadable articles. So from my point of view, like, if it would be easier for me to search for the trending articles as well, because I went up there because I was searching for, I didn't have anything specific in my mind. I was just there to see what's going on in this space, because health and medical science is not my field of interest. So if I could see what's going on there, like if I could see some hint or something, that would give me like a better understanding, or like I'd feel interest to go there. Probably would recommend someone to go to PMC Canada. But the best thing is that if any researcher or the people who are working in that space, they can get an idea by going to the most downloadable articles. Because, I mean, if you're going there, probably you're going there for a reason. And if you want to use the data, you have to download that. So that's a good part of this repository that I found. And this is PubMed USA that I didn't explain about the cache memory. So I was doing the same here, and I just typed the cancer. This is the main homepage. So it actually gave me all the related articles that's available within the repository, and this is the cache memory. Probably you all are aware about Google's, like Google is the pioneer in cache memory thing. They use this algorithm for that, which I find really, really interesting, because like from the user point of view, you can't really expect, like the owner of the repository can't really expect all the visitors or all the users that tech savvy or that specific to search for any specific article. So if you give more options to the users, you're gonna have like more chances to get visited more often. You know what I mean? And the best part of this side, like I said, the cache memory thing, and it actually, like, from my first opinion was like the most common thing in the cancer research would be breast cancer, lung cancer, but you can see that there are like all the cancer related articles are showing up there, which is pretty amazing. This is the advanced field search. Like I said, I was doing this search from a layman point of view. So as I knew nothing about it, the best thing for me was the YouTube tutorial. As you can see on the top right corner, they pasted a link for the YouTube tutorial, and if you just click on that, it's a 2.5 minutes video. Even if you don't know anything about searching anything, you're gonna get all the idea like how you can effectively and efficiently use these searches. And in the builder section, you can see that they have actually like sorted it down, like as many fields as you can add up there, and you can use, they have sorted down the and, not, and or functions in the side, so that you don't have to play with it and you don't have to be like confused like whether I'm doing it right, whether I'm doing it wrong. You don't have to be in that space. And another good thing is that it actually saves the history of your search. So if you have done, like if you're searching with a very complicated search string, if you're searching for something very specific, and if you just typed it there, and later on you don't have to worry about remembering it, it allows you to store your search string right up there. And in my large search string, I did it, it gives you the time as well, and how many journals showed up there, so that you don't have to think about it. You just click on the link and you'll be able to see all the related journals that showed up in the first place. But I'm yet not sure that if any new journal is added in that space, whether they're gonna show up or not. I haven't searched it, but probably by the end of my term paper, I'm gonna figure it out as well. But I found it really, really interactive. And this is the part I wanted to compare it with PMC Canada, where they actually put the most downloadable and most recently deposited articles. So for me, the trending articles, like I was really interested on that. So like I said, I'm not a health science or medical science guy. So I can, like just going through the trending articles, like I got an idea that what is going on right now. And these are the most recent articles that was being discussed or downloaded or been visited by the users. But on the literature side, like with all due respect, it doesn't really make any sense to me. Like you can't really figure out like whether they're talking about the author, whether they're talking about the topic, whether they're talking about like what, like I mean the first one, MJ Clean Nature, I don't know what it is. Okay, then you can see blood, I can make sense out of it. Probably it's 2 journals are there related to blood. And if you just go down, JAMA, I don't really know what it is. So like it's very interactive, visually very attractive, but this part didn't really make any sense to me. I mean, I don't really know what they tried to do with this one, but maybe I can figure out at the end of my term paper. Some of the limitations, these limitations actually I tried to do it in terms of accessibility. And I used one web application tool. It's open access as well, open source as well. It's called HAker. If you just put any website to check the accessibility problems or how compliant it is with the accessibility, you can check any website there. So for PMC Canada and PubMed USA, none of them are fully compliant with the WCAG accessibility standard. So what it is, the interesting fact is that it actually gives you, the first view will gonna give you like how many major problems are there within that repository or within that website. So what I found out, in my first search for PMC Canada, it showed up that there are like 67 major problems are there in terms of WCAG standard. But for PubMed USA, there are only 3 major problems, which is like easily fixable, I believe. So I just tried to limit some of them there. Like the first one was the contrast between the color text and the background for the element, which was not sufficient to meet the WCAG standard. And which the third point is very deceiving for the users. Some of the link actually doesn't move forward. So you might see some of the links are there. If you click them, it will not going to direct you anywhere. So you're just stuck up there. And the third one is all the text does not convey the same information as the image, which is like to comply with the accessibility standard. We have to, like the repository or the website has to make sure that it tells the same story. And the only 3 major problem I found out with PubMed USA was the bold element in some content which does not comply with the WCAG standard. Like I was going through some of the recommendation and comments, which is not that big of a deal in terms of accessibility, but it's still there. Some of the document languages is not valid as per ISO 6391 standard. Already Lisa has explained about it. But just so you know, it's a part of the WCAG standard as well. And some of the document has invalid language code. It was basically, well, I dig a little bit deep into it, sorry about that. I found out that the journals, those were available in different languages like Spanish or French. There they had this problem. Otherwise, for the English documents, I didn't find anything. And my observation is for PMC Canada and PubMed USA, both are very good repositories for the health and medical science related journals. And for PMC Canada, what I found and already explained, the search and navigation was not that user friendly, and I found it less visually attractive, but it's a true source of free access and download within the repository, but it directs you to the link of the actual publishers if it's not available, which is a good part. And for PubMed USA, this is actually the biggest legitimate source of medical and health related, science related repository. I found it very user friendly and attractive, visually attractive. And for me, like what I found interesting is it allows me to save my search string, because I'm kind of lazy kind of guy, so I don't want to do this task over and over again. So if I can store it somewhere, that is going to save some of my time. So that was my observation so far, and that's it.